Love you too.
We love you too.
All right, let's get into the Boss Rush banter of the week. So the Boss Rush banter of the week is an article that we pick out that has been written within the last week from one of our writers over at bossrush.net. Boss Rush banter is our daily feature. It takes a talking point and expands on it. So James wrote a banter called "Go Out and Create Something," and as content creators and as creators of other things, we like to do other things outside of this. I think I try to think I like to do things outside of this. My question to you all is, how much is creating things a part of our lives, and what is the most important part of creating for us? So, Laurent, I'm going to go your way first because I want to.
Okay, so going with this banter. Actually, I can confidently answer that. Like every so often. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I even did this. Like I'm always drafting up outlines for like future story ideas that I may or may not ever write and stuff like that. But it's something I do. Like I
He's getting up. Uh-oh.
I go out and buy notebooks and I start just writing shit in it, like more or less story ideas. And that's something I do. It also kind of keeps my brain from like just like writing with like, like, because like I will sit on my I will sit at my desk, and 9 times out of 10, like the stuff that we do here on Boss Rush is the stuff that kind of like occupies my free time. So like I'm always looking at stuff for like how to build a better OBS setup for like streaming, even though I hardly ever stream. I'm always looking at stuff for like video content editing and creation through DaVinci Resolve and stuff like that. I'm always doing something for the creative part, but it's not always like the actual like old fashioned hands on creating, like writing, for example, or artwork and stuff like that. So I am pretty proud to say that that every so often, every few weeks, like I start like I grab a notebook and I just start scribbling stuff in. Yes, this is an actual pen in my hand. Actually, I don't always use a pen. I 90% of the time I'm using like one of my pencils.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not artistic. My artistry is literary. Not. I really wish. Honestly, I feel like if I knew even how to just like rudimentary sketch, I'd probably be on a roll as far as like my writing would go. Because like I'd be able to like basically perceptualize like the way my characters look, the way like environments are supposed to go and stuff like that. I would be able to do it a lot better if I was able to sketch. But you know what? I'm not a storyboarder, so I guess I will never be in the Hollywood writers' room.
Well, Laurent, I think you could write a Hollywood script. I feel it in my heart. I feel like you're going to write the next great Star Trek reboot movie.
Oh, thanks. That's saying a lot, given that a lot of my sci-fi kind of like steals from Star Trek. Over the years, I'm going to share this with you guys, and I'm going to pass the mic. Over the years, like with a lot of my sci-fi writing, like I've looked back, the stuff that I was able, like, my mom was able to save and stuff from when I was a kid growing up and stuff like that. I would read some of this stuff and I was like, man, there's so many copyright infringing things going on here with Star Trek, Star Wars, and a little bit and a teeny tiny smattering of like this other sci-fi show called V. It's and so like I've actually now as the grown ass adult, I've had the job of deconstructing stuff to make it seem original. But here's the problem: as I got older, I also started writing more original content, and I'm starting to see that stuff show up in like newer mediums now and stuff like that. I've done like the living android that doesn't know it's a freaking android, thinks it's a human, all that stuff, and like we've got like shows that like androids don't know they're actual like machines and stuff like that. I've it's like motherfucker, like Star Trek did this, and I'm like, man, did they steal something from me? Like I created a race of I created a species of aliens that were based off like our animal kingdom and stuff like that. And there's like seven predominant species and stuff like that, based off of cats, wolves, like birds, reptiles, and stuff like that. Season 3 of Star Trek Enterprise back in 2000 created the Xindi arc, and their major protagonist was a race of multi species like aliens that were based off of the animal kingdom. I was like, what the fuck?
Furries?
Jesus
No,
Christ.
no, God, no. No. I don't want to give a lot. I don't want to give a lot of my ideas away. But there was a cool thing with DNA for why my aliens are the way they are. And the good news is, like, I can still get away with it using it. But of course, someone's gonna be like, "Oh man, like he stole the Xindi from Star Trek." Fuck y'all.
Mm. Mm.
I steal a lot from Star Trek, but I did not steal the Xindi. They stole that from me.
Yeah.
Paramount's gonna sue my ass now.
Yes, they will, because they are broke.
They're not
They
going to
went
get much
under.
more. They're not going to get much more money from me if they come after my ass. I'm not going to be the person that bails them out.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. Pat, what about you? Are you creative? Where's your creative bone?
My creative bone was destroyed in high school, unfortunately. But I was very creative back in those days. Like, I loved creating art. I loved drawing. I was even writing stories. And then I got told that art would not, you know, pay bills, and that I
Oh
needed to look
yeah, I
at
think
something else.
isn't that like the splash of cold water in the face for all of us creatives?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
art or a passion will not pay the bills. Like I just happen to have like an adjacent like passion that finally became a career. Like IT and electronics. But I feel like I'm more like tripped into that. Like fell into the bushes and found that than versus like it. Like me going directly to it.
No, I was literally sat at the dining room table with my dad and his recent Russian wife, who was a very practical person.
Wait, repeat
And
that.
he just recently got married to a Russian woman. That,
Not the mail order bride variety, right?
not the mail order, more
Because
like
when
bet online
because when you
variety.
say it specifically like that, like there's a mental image that comes up, and maybe I'm just a pervert. Maybe.
No, it's like she was educated, so she's
Ah, God
she
damn
wasn't
it.
looking just to become a housewife.
Okay,
Um,
okay. I'm gonna
but
shut up now.
yeah, they she was a very practical person, and she saw my artistic side as like hindrance and a weakness, and they literally basically told me that I need to stop pursuing arts,
Ah,
and start
it's it,
focusing on real practical skills.
it sucks when they kill our dreams.
Yeah. So in terms of absolute like creativity now, like I would say the most I create spreadsheets. That's kind of creative, not really,
Oh,
but
hey, I might start picking your brain because like I need some spreadsheet help.
yeah, and I would say I'm intermediate. I'm not like advanced though. Like
Uh,
I've seen some really
well,
good spreadsheets that for me though, I'm like one of these kind of people that I have to deconstruct things. Like if someone shows me a spreadsheet, I'm going to be looking at the formulas and seeing where all the different like pieces are being pulled, and then I'm able to replicate something off of that. Another
okay.
like it's almost like building Legos, but I need the instructions. If you give me the instructions, I will build it.
You know what?
Um,
I'm okay with building like Lego creations from the ground up. That's the one thing I can say. Like, it takes me a while to like conceptualize it, but I can do that.
yeah. Um, And other than that, maybe the most creative I get is with my Picross games.
Mm.
Again, it's following directions, but it creates a picture at the end. So, but yeah, my creative side died when I was 18.
Mm.
Sounds a lot like a similar story to me. So I guess first of all, the question, I do think creativity is very important to everybody, and creativity comes in way more forms than drawing and writing.
Mm.
So, and I think that's what unfortunately many people think of what creativity is. And in a lot of cultures, families, they downplay the importance of the arts and creativity when, sure, you have to live your life practically, so to speak, but at the same time, that the arts and creativity is what gives, in my opinion, or one of the gives humans one of the reasons why we stick out from other non-intelligent
Mhm.
animals, so to speak. We have the ability to create, to
Yep.
design, to come up beyond what is necessary, and that becomes culture. Look at all of what we study about Greek mythology, all the artwork from the Renaissance and stuff like that. If we start killing creativity in like 50, 100 years, we're going to look back and be like, wow, what the fuck have we been doing? Nothing. Just letting
Yeah.
AI generate our images. We won't have all the Picassos, the Da Vincis, and I mean, I'm giving like really basic stereotypical examples, but that's kind of true. And even the decades, there's like a style to the 50s, the 70s, the 80s, right? And that includes music, not just physical artwork, right? So that was my first part of my answer. I do think it is actually very important and it can come in many ways. Personally, I have always considered myself a creative person. I always loved to draw. I always wanted to make my own graphic novels. And my attention span was not great in school, but because my parents didn't believe in any sort of mental illness of any kind, the way I coped was on my notebook, on one side, I will write my story, and on the other side, I'll write my notes. So I will be doing this simultaneously at the same time to keep my brain engaged. And by the end of like my sophomore year of high school, I had basically a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time fan fiction completely written out in my English
Mm.
notebook.
Mm.
Um, and then I kind of similarly with Pat, I had parents that told me that artists are losers and it's a waste of time and all these horrible things. So I had to go to pharmacy school. And at first I thought, well, I'll still do it on the side. But then I learned that going to pharmacy school literally murders any creative cell in your body, throws them
Mhm.
in a dumpster and sets it on fire, and then throws it to the bottom of the ocean and nukes it, like all that stuff.
Ah.
So I
Yeah.
actually had a hard time after pharmacy school, even when I wanted to revisit my creativity. I almost kind of did not know how. My brain kind of was rewired and reprogrammed to think just more analytically, and anything creative I could come up with is just shit. So all the novels that I've written, I have 4 novels with a 5th one coming out next year. Those ideas were from my high school days. I pooled my ideas from high school and I wrote them in my books, and once they're all published, I have nothing left in me. I am done. So but, that my sad sob story should be more of a lesson to others. And my last point is I was honored to speak to my high school, 2-ish years ago, a couple years ago. And I was supposed to talk about my career. And I kind of gave both sides where I said, I am a pharmacist, but you know what? I have a creative side. It was dismissed when I was younger, but please do your best to follow what your calling is. If you feel like you want to create, don't stifle it. So the fact that I was able to tell my story, hopefully I can give hope to the younger generation who feel like they have to be serious and not create and stuff like that, kind of dismiss that stigma. So, because we still need a culture, we still need something that makes us distinctly human.
You're so right.
Yeah, and I mean, not to not to bring AI into this, but like that's the whole thing about AI is like the art, like a lot of artists and things are going to be start being manipulated through this thing, and like art, and like there's two things that make us distinctly human besides our consciousness of life, right?
Being able to
It's
create four fingers and a thumb.
oh Jesus Christ. No, it's music and it's art, right?
Yeah.
Those are the things that are able to differentiate us as humans, as individuals. And obviously there are people who are more creative than others. There are people who are idea people. There are people who are great painters and drawers and musicians and singers and all these things, right? And I think being creative is just it's such a magical experience, right? It's literally like it's like nothing else, you know. Um, and I kind of have revisited that part of my brain recently, because I've been drawing a lot, and I ordered some canvases to start painting again. And because I used to do that, I used to do it all the time. I used to paint and draw all the time, and it was a part of my life that made me really happy. And then it helped me get through some really hard times. It helped me kind of cope with things. It also helped me just focus and be, you know, just kind of be me in a sense. So, um, I don't know. I think if you have a creative side, you should definitely, um, you should definitely focus on it and at least be in tune with it, even if you don't make it like a career or something, right?
Exactly.
I mean, like I said before, when we've created something here at Boss Rush, right? And that's a different type of creativity, but we're still creating something.
Yeah.
I got my day job because of what we've created here, right? And that's something I think I can be proud of, is like my creativity finally got me somewhere in life. But it's everybody should try to be as creative as they can. Um, and if your life allows your like time and you have the the will to like really try to do something special. So
You know, to piggyback off that super quick, I think creativity is just kind of almost just a word to frame how humans express themselves, right?
Hmm.
Creativity is human expression. And I don't know, when you have a lot of feelings, emotions, I feel like I tend to be most creative when I'm in a certain emotional state. It needs to come out, whether it is through writing, singing terribly, drawing, smashing glass. I don't know. That's creativity. I don't know. I'll just stop there. But anyway, expression, human expression.
mhm.
No, look at the indie games that we have today. Like indie games is basically people creating, their expressions and their thoughts and their passion projects.
Mhm,
Like these are games that wouldn't have made the AAA space because those aren't, created based on like emotions and like passions. Those are created because something sells well.
mhm.
Um, but indie games, like these are people who are literally pouring out their hearts and their ideas. Like you're gonna be talking to Billy Basso here pretty soon, and the man literally has absolutely no background in anything video game related, but he wanted to create something, and he will, talk about creating like everything from scratch, like
Mhm.
the music, the level design, everything. It was him. So it's,
That is a lot of
it's
talent.
yeah. Like it's something he, self-taught himself. But like he wanted to create something and he,
Yeah, he did it.
learned how to create it.
It's pretty amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love side tangent. I love seeing like solo developers create their game, like create the games by themselves, right? Like
Yeah.
Stardew Valley, also
Yeah,
like
same
another
here.
one. Kind of,
Yeah.
it's like it's just so impressive that and I know like the tools are getting easier to use and whatever, but it's still no less impressive
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, because you still have to know something.
Yeah, yeah.
I sure as fuck can do it.
Nope. I think maybe if I had time, I would try, but I don't know the first thing about doing any of that. So
I'm just gonna say like this. I feel like I'm not super creative and stuff like that. So like how like the whole argument for abortion is like, what if that one child you abort is the person that cures cancer or something like that? I guarantee you, like I could have been aborted and there wouldn't have been no problems. The world would have moved on just fine.
My gosh, what kind of direction
Oh,
did we just turn
I'm just
here?
I'm just saying like I'm just saying based on how well I know myself and stuff, yeah, like I've got a creative mind. I can write and stuff like that. But I feel like that's the only limiting thing and it's and I doubt I would be the next like Stephen King or Dean Koontz or Patterson.
Yeah, but creativity doesn't necessarily mean fame and fortune,
Hey,
right?
I would like to be published and make and be able to retire. I would love to. Like shit, like where my job is just write another book. Also, I've seen what authors who have actual agents have to go through. I don't know if I can deal with that type of pressure. I can imagine getting a phone call at 6:30 in the morning, like you owe me 100 pages.
Yeah, I'm
Just
good.
give them the George R. R. Martin,
Oh, you know
treatment.
what? You know what? It's funny. I read something. From him that he talked about the other day, and he basically said something like one of the things he would have done differently is he would have finished the book, and I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
No, that guy has no desire nor any reason to actually finish that book anymore.
I know because he's making money off of the residuals now.
Mm-hmm.
But at least he's not doing fuck all like some other author that created an amazing franchise that us nerds love, to death and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not naming names, but you guys pretty much know who I'm talking about out there. Like you don't have to. There's not that many brain cells you need to burn up trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, we know. We know.
I'd take a guess, but
No guessing. No names.
No
names.
No.
No names. Speaking of names, we have questions. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.